Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ginger Hour, the show where I talk about things that I want to talk about. Today, I'm going to talking, I'm going to be talking a bit about Heroes of the Storm because, as I mentioned last week, I got my new PC, so I'm happy. Um, which also means that I have picked up gaming again, and I think I got my PC on Monday. And since then, I've played through Ori of the Blind Forest. I've started playing Rise of the Tomb Raider 2, yes, Rise of the Tomb Raider, that's the game, and a fair bit of Heroes of the Storm, because Heroes of the Storm is essentially my jam, you know. So I'll talk a bit about that. I want to talk a bit about my favorite heroes. I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna talk a bit about my favorite heroes. Let's see if I can bring them up on my thing. Um, so just to run through the names so you can sort of see what's going to be happening. It's Asmodan, Karazin, Li Ming, and Murky. Um, yeah, you might notice there are no tanks in this setup because tanks are, they're alright. I'm not the biggest fan of tanks in this game. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna start off with Asmodan because he's more of an honorable mention than he is anything else at this point because sorry, I burp. Because I played him a lot when I started playing Heroes of the Storm. I barely ever play him anymore. Um, but yeah, anyway, he's from the Diablo franchise. He's got 8 legs, I think. Essentially, he's got a spidery body, like the leg stuff, not the giant butt thing that spiders have. And then he's just a massive fat guy who like sits on those legs. He's a specialist. He has 3 primary abilities and a trait and 2 heroics, just as every other hero. His first one is called Globe of Annihilation, which is essentially a massive ball of fire that explodes in an area. Words. It's often referred to as the Dunk, and it is one of the most satisfying kills in the game. You can expect for it to deal more damage depending on how many things you've killed with it, or increase damage based on range. I usually go for the range one because I'm not very good at collecting stacks, so you know. Second ability is Summon Demon Warrior. That the ability spawns a Demon Warrior that deals light damage and lasts 10 seconds. It's essentially just another lane minion with maybe a bit heavier, like armored and heavier attacks. I don't know. It's just another thing to have in lane. His third ability is called All Shall Burn, referred to as the Laser. Um, it's a beam. At first, he has to stand perfectly still while channeling it, and towards later levels, he can walk around while doing it. Uh, it deals massive damage to structures, and it's usually the ability that I spec for. Usually, because it's just real good. And it does require a lot of mana, so be wary of that. But it's a very damaging ability. His trait is called General of Hell. You summon a demon lieutenant at an ally minion, granting all ally minions in the area damage and maximum health. 15% increase to both of those things. It also has unlimited range, so if you're on bot lane, you can cast that on top lane, no problem. This is a very powerful ability, and you can use it on cooldown, no problem. Like, when the duration of this general or demon lieutenant, whatever, the cooldown goes off, the duration of the general also goes away. So, like, you use it on cooldown, always. His heroic abilities is Demonic Invasion. Like, a bunch of demonic grunt things land in the area that you target, and they deal a bit of damage when they land, and then they just sort of, they become lane minions, and they fight shit. Apparently they deal double damage to non-heroic targets. I was not aware of that. That's really good. His second ult is Blackpool. It empowers Asmodan, his demons, and allied minions, increasing their attack and ability damage by 75%. So essentially what I do is I pick this talent and, or this ult, because it has like 2 or 3 charges and like no cooldown. Or at least a very, very short one. And, you know, you plunk that down and you dunk someone for a lot of damage, or you laser someone for a lot of damage, you know. Overall, real good. Can't look at his talents now, so I can't really tell you what that thing does at level 20, but you know. He also has one of my favorite skins in the entire game, that's Asmo Gul'dan, or Asgul'dan. And it's real cool. Like, imagine Gul'dan, but Asmodan, you know? I don't know. Next hero, this is gonna be a short one. Holy crap. Alright. Second hero is Karazin, the monk from Diablo 3. And I just think this guy is so great. He's a support hero. He's got his first ability is called Deadly Reach. Really? Isn't that one on the another? Maybe they're not in order. I don't know. He gains 100% attack speed and 100% attack range for 2 seconds. So he can basically just deal a bunch of. He can punch a bunch of stuff in that time. It's just real good. Bonuses in the next cooldown activate on your next basic attack cost. Wait, what? Cooldown activate on your next basic attack after casting damage. I don't know what that means. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. I understand now. You click the ability and it's just sort of, the mana goes away, but it doesn't activate until you actually punch someone. And the cooldown doesn't activate until you actually punch someone. So pretty much you spawn, you hit that button, and then you run into the fray. Like, you basically always want to have that. Almost always, anyway. Next ability is Breath of Heaven. You heal yourself and allies for a moderate amount and give 10% movement speed for 3 seconds. This is his heal ability. He has another heal I'm going to go through in a second, but this is his like base heal. At level 16, you can spec for that ability to heal twice, and that can be really powerful. His third ability is Radiant Dash. Jump to target ally or enemy. Enemy targets are hit with a basic attack. 2 charges. The way I play Karazin is I go for the damage ult, and the only time that I ever use his ability to jump to an enemy is when I want to get in the middle of their group and like unleash hell upon them, or if they are stunned, I'm alone. I can just jump in and deal 50% of their health with that ult. Generally, I use this as an escape. One of my favorite ever plays in this game was using this ability to jump over a wall when I was getting surrounded. And, you know, it's an all around good thing. Now, his trait is a bit weird because he can choose between 3 traits on level 1. That's his level 1 talent choice, his trait. So it's Transcendence, which heals nearby allies on your 3rd punch. It's Iron Fist, which makes your 3rd punch, every 3rd punch, you know, a crit. Or Insight, which refunds mana. on every third punch. Always ever go for Transcendence if you ask me. Like, to me, that's the best trait. I tried to build Charism for damage at first, but it didn't work out for me. All right. His heroic abilities are Seven-Sided Strike. You become invulnerable while striking the highest health nearby enemy hero for 7% of their maximum health up to 7 times. At max level, I think that's 11 punches, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's 11 punches. So that's really powerful. Like, if you have a group of enemies and you use that, then their health is sort of like going down at a reasonable pace, like all of them. If you only have one enemy, their health goes down devastatingly, like so fast. It's also the ability that's way easier to use, so I usually go for it because I'm very bad with the second one. The second one is called Divine Palm. If the target ally would be killed within the next 3 seconds, they are instead healed for a large amount. This is super difficult because a lot of the time you either miss, like the ally dies before you have the time to put this ability on him, or there's a bigger ally and you just sort of accidentally hit him, which is bad, or you put it on someone and they don't die within those 3 seconds, and then your ult is entirely wasted. To me, this is a very difficult ability to use, and so I tend to go for the other ability. Next up is Murky, the baby Murloc, and like I love Murky because he is the most annoying hero to play against, and when you can just fuck with an enemy team like that, it is one of the best feelings. Now I hate playing against Murky, I do, but I love playing Murky. I'm gonna go over his trait real quick because just to get you an understanding of how bullshit Murky is. His trait is Spawn Egg. You place an egg at target location, revealing the nearby area. Upon dying, you respawn at the egg after 5 seconds. If your egg is killed, you are revealed to enemies for 15 seconds. You only grant 25% of a hero's experience upon dying. So, if you die, your cooldown is only 5 seconds if you have your egg up, even at level 20. This is really strong, right? To sort of even that out, he has no health. His health is probably, I think, yeah, his health has got to be the lowest in the entire game. He's super squishy, but he's got some stuff to help out with that. Going on to his abilities, his first ability is Slime. Deal moderate damage and apply slime to the nearby enemies for 8 seconds, slowing them by 20%. Does heavy damage to enemies who are already slimed. This is good. Like, there is few things are as frustrating as running away from a Murky when you're low on health and the Murky just sliming you. Like, that shit hurts on like the inside. But it's a pretty good wave clearing ability. Like, it's got a, I think if I recall correctly, it's got a pretty low cooldown, and yeah, it's alright. His next ability is Pufferfish. You throw a fish on the ground. After 3 seconds, it explodes for a lot of damage. However, enemy players can kill it if they just punch it a bit. This fish is great for clearing waves. It's great for doing structure damage, it's just all around very, very good. You can talent it for the area to be bigger as well. It is crazy. The next ability is Safety Bubble. You become invulnerable for 2 seconds. While active, you cannot use attacks or abilities. Very good. For if you're into deep under a tower, you can just bubble up and float away, or if you're being attacked by an enemy, you can just float away, or if you're being targeted or something by an ability, you can just float away. Because like Asmodan's laser, if Asmodan lasers the Murky, which he never ever should, but if he does, you can just bubble up and that laser is gone. You can also talent later on for the bubble to heal Murky up to like 70% of his health or something. And if you do that, you can distract 3 enemy players as Murky and just not die. Like, it's crazy. And that's also one of my favorite moments in Here's a Storm, and it was pretty recently actually as well. I played Murky, and that exact thing happened. It was 3 enemy players and me, and I was just sort of jumping around, bouncing, like dealing, and I wasn't even punching them. I was dealing damage to their structures, so they had to sort of get me away from there. But and I just sort of bounced around, did some shit. It was great. I think they got me in the end, but it took way too long. His heroic abilities are 1. March of the Murlocs. You command a legion of Murlocs to march into a target direction, each one leaping onto the first enemy hero or structure they find. Each Murloc deals moderate damage and slows its target by 15% for 5 damage, does half damage to structures. I was not aware of that. Interesting. Cool, okay. So yeah, like, that can do a bunch of stuff. Generally, I see a very, very few amount of people picking this talent because the other one is just so good. But yeah, I'm a fan of this one, even though I usually pick the other one as well. The other one is Octograb. You summon an octopus to stun target enemy hero for 3 seconds while you hit them for light damage. At level 20, you hit them for a lot of damage. Just saying. Now this is great. A 3-second stun is super powerful, and if you manage to combo it with your pufferfish, that's real strong. Yeah, it's a 3-second stun is insane. Granted, you are like indisposed, for lack of a better word, for those 3 seconds, but that's kind of worth it. Murky also has the most adorable skin in his StarCraft 2 style space armor. It's like he holds a fish, like standardly. Standardly? Yeah, that's the word now. But in this one here, he holds a Zerg larva. That's great. The final one is the most recent hero. That's Li Ming, the wizard from Diablo 3. Now, a lot of people say that she's OP, and her trait might be, but I don't think that she overall is OP. Now, this is the only assassin on this list. Now, okay. I'm gonna go through the stuff and then I'm gonna tell you why I don't think she's OP. What's this then? Oh, that's cool. Her trait is critical mass. Getting a takedown will refresh the cooldown on all of your abilities. Now, that includes assists. So if an enemy dies in your general vicinity, all of your cooldowns are reset. This is incredibly powerful. This is insanely powerful. Because that means you can just chain ability. Someone dies, cool, ability. It's very, very strong. Her abilities are magic missiles. Fire 3 missiles towards an area, each dealing heavy damage to the first enemy hit. This is very strong, but it's pretty hard to hit with. Actually, it's very hard to hit with. Second ability is Arcane Orb. It fires an orb that powers up as it travels, dealing heavy damage to the first enemy hit. The further the orb travels, the harder it hits, up to massive damage at maximum range. This is very, very strong. And you can talent it to sort of pull enemies in. And if you combo that with the magic missiles one, you have an almost guaranteed hit. And that combo is hella strong. It is way strong. Like, it is ridiculous how strong that combo is. The third ability is teleport. Is teleport short distance instantly. It's like, it's a worse Bolted Storm, but she has it from level 1. And I'm gonna get back to that soon. Okay, her heroics are 1. Disintegrate. Channel a powerful beam dealing massive damage over 2.5 seconds to enemies caught in it. The direction of the beam changes with your cursor's position. This is very strong if you can have it hit an enemy for all of those 2.5 seconds. If you can't, it still does a bit of damage, but it's not as powerful, you know? Second one is Wave of Force. I never ever use this because Disintegrate is way too cool. Knock away all enemies from an area and deal heavy damage. But yeah, so cool. Now the combo here is Arcane Orb, pull them in. Almost immediately after casting that, you cast Magic Missiles on where they're going to be, and then immediately, that was me snapping my fingers to make a point, you Disintegrate. And that kills so many heroes. Like, it is insane how many people that kills. Now, this all sounds ridiculous, right? She has super high damage, and she has super high potential for damage with her trait, like continued damage as well. But she has 0 utility. The only CC she has is that orb, and that basically don't even count. Because I will say because you have the talent for it, but that's not even relevant. It's so little. Like, she's a mage, sort of a caster thing, even though she's up close a lot of the time. But Jaina, she has basically only CC, and she's a mage. And Kel'Thas has his E ability, that's CC, you know, shit like that. She has no CC. She has no evade. Is not true because she can sort of juke and dodge out of the way with her teleport. She doesn't have any escape. That's the word I'm looking for, because that teleport is very, very short. Like, it's enough to teleport out of the way of an opponent Arcane Orb or a Stitches hook or something like that. But you can jump over a wall. Like, if Stitches pulls you into their, like, behind their walls, you can just teleport out. Or if you have to get into your own camp and you don't have the time to get around your to your gate, you can just teleport in. But that's essentially all that thing can do, right? She also has basically no survivability. She has super low health, and there's a talent that gives you more ability power in exchange for having less health, and that's the one I generally go for because it's just very, very good. So that means you die super easy. To add to that, all of her abilities are skill shots, all of them. Like, the orb is a skill shot, the magic missiles is a skill shot, and the disintegrate is a channeled skill shot from your character onto where you happen to be pointing. The only thing that might be OP and might be needing a bit of like poking and touching is the trait, critical mass, because like it's very, very strong, and if you use it properly, it can wipe out a team immediately. You know, like, get a kill, instantly you can ult again. It's very, very powerful. But overall, I honestly don't think Li Ming is overpowered. I know that a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but I don't think that that is the case at all. Honestly, that's essentially what I wanted to talk about today. About Heroes of the Storm, because like going into the maps and the structure of the game, it's way too much for me right now. Hang on. Logging to Battle.net. Oh, okay, that was all that was. Cool. I was checking out the Overwatch website because I don't know if you've noticed or heard about this, you probably have. Overwatch is going to be back on Tuesday, the 9th of February. It's going to be back with new maps. It's going to be back with a new game mode. And it's going to be back with a progression system. And I'm very excited to see all of these things. Now, I'm not in the beta. I know this. I should check my email just to be sure. Let's see. No, I'm not in the beta. What's this? Ravine? It's a comic book. Is it good? I don't know. I'm gonna look into it. I've seen about this. Yeah. But I'm excited about Overwatch. I pre-purchased the Origin Edition last Christmas, and I'm very excited to play it. I got into the weekend beta. That was in November, I think, and I played a few games there before my computer, laptop. Figured like, you know what? I don't really want this guy to play this game. Let's overheat, yeah? And so it overheated and crashed on me multiple times. So I couldn't play Overwatch that much. But I enjoyed what I played of it, and I'm really excited to see it come back. I'm pretty sure that Dodger is going to be streaming it when it comes back, because she is in love with that game. I don't know this for sure. I don't actually know Dodger, but I think she mentioned in her latest gaming news that she misses her sweet, sweet junk butt. And I think those were the words that she used. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm probably gonna watch her streams. At the very least, I'm gonna watch her VODs. And I'm excited for that game to actually be released so I can play it. I'm gonna play it a lot. Other than that, I bought comic books the other week. I actually bought them on the same day that I bought my PC, and they showed up 2 days ago. I bought the first 2 volumes of Rat Queens. That is that would be the first 10 issues, I think. I've read the first issue. I haven't read any more. I'm probably going to be buying volume 3 when it comes out in April, because like, even if I don't think that the comic is amazing or spectacular in any way, I'm probably still gonna buy it for the collector thing, right? Like, I have all of the Rat Queens comics, and even if I don't love them, and I've heard that they're great, so I'm hoping I do, but even if I don't love them, I just sort of let them hang around and take care of them so they don't break. Who knows what they'll be worth in the future, Let's see what else. I don't know. I don't think it's anything else. This has been a shorter thing. It's still half an hour, but it's a lot shorter than like last week's, which was stupid how long that was. But yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to be editing this thing right away, I think. And until next time, guys, have a good week.